In today's show, Donovan Clingan of the Portland Trail Blazers joins the program, and we talk about his year two rise and how the Blazers have stayed in the mix despite all the injuries. Welcome to Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter, Mike Richmond. You're listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. Thanks for making this show your first listen. Coming at you each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. So make it a part of your daily routine. Make it your first listen. Tell your friends to do the same. It's Locked On Blazers, your team every day. In today's show, Trailblazers center Donovan Clingan stops by, and we chat about DC's year two rise, where the Blazers are at, staying in the mix, fighting through injuries, and the steps he has taken to become a better player this season. Let's get into it. Joining me now, your center for the Portland Trailblazers, Donovan Clingan. How you doing, DC? What's up, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited that you agreed to come on the show today. Let's start here. I think this is the best basketball you've ever played right now. I've been watching you. I can't say that I saw you as a high school student, but I've watched you throughout your college career and the first couple years in the league, year and a half in the league. This is the best basketball I think I've ever seen you play. For you, where do you think you've improved most in year two as opposed to year one?
I feel like just getting comfortable, really understanding the game, understanding the pace of the game. My teammates put me in great positions to, be successful. Coaching staff has great, schemes that really make us and me personally do well. And, I feel like, the work that I've put in, especially this last summer, knowing what was going to be in front of me, in year two was a big help.
Okay, let's talk about that work this summer. So you're just for those at home, Donovan is averaging a career high in all the counting stats that matter: points, rebounds, and assists. Last year he made 33 3-pointers in 36 games. Or excuse me, last year he made 14 3-pointers in 67 games. This year 33. He's already doubled his makes from the outside. He's shooting better. He's gonna pass his assist total from last year sometime before the All-Star break. He has 68 assists last year, 77 all of last season, with 68 this year. He's leading the NBA in total offensive rebounds. This is a guy who made a big jump, but I want to ask you, beyond just the counting numbers, what did it take for you to be a 27-minute-a-night guy? Like, you're playing a lot. The reason that your numbers have jumped is because you're playing a lot. What went into getting you on the court to be someone who can play as much as you do?
I feel like this summer with the workouts, I was doing hour and a half long workouts with conditioning before or after. Just getting my body in the best shape possible so that I could, go out there and play 27 minutes a night. And, I've been feeling great. I've never felt this good, body wise. And, it's all because of the summer. I never really took much time off this summer, and I just put my head down and kept working.
Was there a moment as a rookie that you realized you weren't in NBA shape? Like, is there a moment when you said, "Oh, that's what those dudes are doing"? Do you recall a moment kind of seeing that in yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like since really day one, just seeing how fast the game was, how, some of these top centers in the league were able to go out there and play 30, 35 minutes on a nightly basis. And, really made me realize, like, I gotta get to that level. I gotta get in shape so I can, perform and do that every single night. And, that was the most important thing.
Did you get taller? Because before you answer. So in the combine, you were barefoot, just under 7'2". You were 7'1" and 3/4. Last year, you were listed at 7'2". Now, when they announce you in the arena, the center from UConn, 7'3". Are you taller now, DC?
I think maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
Okay. I feel like taller and
Like
slimmer
a
is
quarter
actually,
inch, half inch.
yeah, you got your quarter inch. All right. You got your quarter inch. That's what's good to be young, right, man? You still got a quarter inch of growing after you make the league.
Yes, sir.
A couple other questions about sort of your growth this year. You have cut your turnovers way down on like a per possession basis, basically cutting them in half. Obviously, you're playing more minutes, so like the totals are different. But like just looking at the per possession numbers in half, what has gone into you being a little just sort of cleaner with the ball in year two?
Being stronger with it. Just not letting guys go in and poke the ball in my hands. Really being patient. Waiting to make the right read, waiting to see which guy's open and the right time to pass it. I feel like my teammates do a really good job of getting open, whether they're getting denied, back cutting or coming off a dribble handoff, whatever it is. I feel like, I feel like the patience part and just the whole delivery, has been much better this year.
How have you been staying out of foul trouble? This is a big part of your game this year. I don't think people are appreciating this, as you really have not been in foul trouble this season. You have very few games when you fouled out. And there was a game last year, Donovan, and I know before I even say it, you fouled out in 11 minutes. There was a moment, and that was about as mad as I've ever seen you on a basketball court. But like, that hasn't been a thing in
Cleveland?
Yeah. I knew you would know.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So what's changed? Like how are you so much better at it? Because it really has become, I think it's notable that you have avoided foul trouble so much this season.
I feel like showing my hands. There's a lot of times I see where I use one hand to try to block a shot and the other hand just pushing into the body. Really working on my verticality. And, realizing sometimes I'm not going to block every shot, just my presence of being 7'3" with my hands straight up is a big advantage. And it's gonna make, these offensive players, it's going to be a struggle for them to score with, me and my arms up.
Yeah, you better say 7'3", DC. You better not slip up now. You better not slip up now as you're officially 7'3". So like, is that just I think the showing your hands thing is like the biggest problem for defenders in the league. Is if you show the ref your hands, you can get away with they'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Do you think also it's just it's familiarity with how you defend? Like, do you think you earn a reputation in the league?
For sure. I mean, there's guys in the league that are very aggressive. For Tumani, for example, who not very handsy, but was pressuring guys 94 feet for the whole game, and being as aggressive as he can. And there's definitely times where he gets away with calls, and sometimes calls don't go his way. And I feel like you just learn what works for you, what the refs are going to call, what they're not going to call, and really how to be consistent with that.
For those listening at home, and I don't know if you know this, DC, so I might be breaking a little bit of news to you in this moment. Denny Avdia has been ruled out for tomorrow against the Golden State Warriors. He's not going to play. Jeremy Grant upgrade to doubtful, so I think it sounds like JG could be back later this week. But you guys, this has been normal for you, right? Like part of the existence of the Trailblazers this season has been the injury report is full of dudes. How have you, or what do you think for you the biggest key is for you guys just being where you are, like staying in the mix, having getting a chance to move into 8th if you win on Tuesday evening in Golden State?
I feel like guys are ready when their numbers call. For example, City Sissoko, who's been playing absolutely great for us, and I think it was like plus 28. Caleb Love, who's been looking like a great piece to this team. Ryan Repair, who's come off the bench and had some really, really big minutes and had some big defensive stops. The other night against the Rockets, WAP came in and had 2 big-time blocks, knocked down a big-time 3. And, I feel like, guys are just ready to play, no matter what the situation is, who's in, who's out. we never think about that as a team. We know what we have to do, and we know that the other team's not gonna feel sorry for us because some of our best players are out. We got to go out there, we got to fight, we got to do what we do to win the game.
First, I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by GameTime. It's basketball season, and there's nothing like being in the building. The energy, the crowd, the first big run that gets everybody on their feet, the crunch time plays that really matter. When the arena is rocking, you want to be in there rocking too, not stuck refreshing screens or guessing what tickets are really going to cost. That's where GameTime comes in. The GameTime app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets. Fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Browsing the GameTime app is straightforward and intuitive. You can find tickets in just a few taps. When you are searching for tickets, the venue that you are going to be attending is going to pop up right in the app, super clean, and then what you see is what you get pricing. There's no surprise fees at checkout because whatever you look at when you are using the app is exactly what you're going to pay when you get to checkout. It's all your fees included up front. Plus, if you've never been to that arena before, never been to that venue before, you can get a view from your seat before buying tickets to make yourself supremely confident in what you're going to come away with. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download the GameTime app today and get in on the action. Today's show is also brought to you by Zocdoc. Finding a doctor you actually like can feel like discovering a diamond in the rough. You want someone in network, nearby, with availability, but you also want a doctor who really listens, makes you feel comfortable, explains things clearly, and helps you walk out feeling confident about your next steps. Your diamond in the rough doctor exists, and finding them is easy with Zocdoc. Zocdoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can choose someone you truly connect with. I've used Zocdoc, particularly when I'm on the road and also when changing insurance companies. And if you are maybe in a new place and need a medical help, or you just have your insurance switch around and you have to reset up your sort of medical network, there is no better service than searching on Zocdoc, where you're going to find folks quickly, and you get real-time availability, so you can book instantly right there from the app. No phone tag, no nonsense. Appointments, you can get them quickly too, 24 to 72 hours, and they can even have same-day openings on occasion. And if you need to book care fast, Zocdoc is the place to go. It just makes the process simple. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments. Go to Zocdoc.com/LockedOnNBA to find and instantly book your doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. Zocdoc.com/LockedOnNBA. Thanks to Zocdoc for sponsoring this message. All right. Thanks for making the show your first listen. And if you really do live that everyday lifestyle, if you are really listening to this podcast 5 days a week, go ahead and make it official. Join the Locked On Everydayer Club. You get an ad-free version of this podcast, the audio feed without the ads, plus access to our members-only Discord where you can chat with me and your fellow Blazers fans. You can find more about it in the show notes or visit lockedonblazers.supercast.com. It's $5 a month, $50 a year to join that Everydayer Club. All right. Here's the rest of my conversation with Donovan Clingan. Do you ever catch yourself feeling a little bit, feeling sorry for yourself, but being like, man, what if we were healthy? Do you ever let yourself go there?
I feel like everyone, really thinks that, the roster we have and the guys just on this team, the possibilities and the things that we could do once everyone is healthy, it's going to be special. And obviously, I know all these guys would love to be on the floor, but it's part of the game, and once we are all healthy, I think it's gonna really be good for us.
Do you think there's some benefits to having to go 15 deep with this roster, like to having to say, CD, you got to play every night, CD, you got to play every night, Caleb, you got to play every night? Do you think down the line this pays off because you've had so many dudes have to be thrown into big minute roles?
For sure, just because late in the year and hopefully play in or playoff team, we know that we have guys on the bench that could come in and be very impactful. We know that they're going to have experience. They played plenty of games, so we know that they're going to be ready to go. And I feel like just for their careers and their futures, like they're gonna have this experience at a young age and know what it takes to go out there and play well on a nightly basis. And I feel like it's pretty impressive seeing what some of these guys are doing.
Yeah, I think Tiago, I like Tiago because he can sometimes be like, he can be so honest and so sort of like just blunt with his assessments. But he said before one of the games last week that it's like, some of these dudes are playing to stay in the league. Some of these dudes are playing for NBA contracts. Like it's easy to coach them because everybody kind of gets the survival mode of this. And I think like, I'm not sure a lot of coaches would say that pre-game, but I really appreciate it. It's like, that's the truth, is like you got guys who are pushed into bigger roles and you're playing for your chance to secure your spot. And I think Caleb Love and CD Sissoko probably made themselves a bunch of money over the last little bit. So good for them. I want to rewind a little bit, take you back to June. The Blazers decide to waive DeAndre Ayton. He was your vet all year one, and all of a sudden he's off the team, just kind of like suddenly gone. What was your reaction to that moment?
I was upset. Da was my guy. His locker was 2 lockers down for me. We had a great relationship. He taught me a lot. He's been on winning teams. He's been in this league for a couple of years now, and I feel like he had a lot of stuff. He was in my ear about a lot of stuff. Especially the little things. And I feel like it helped me understand the game better. It helped me, develop a little better. But at the end of the day, he wasn't with us anymore. So I knew that it was my turn to step up and take a big jump and be the center that this team needed.
Yeah, I mean, to me, what that said was like the organization says DC's ready. They said DC's ready. Like it is. They had obviously drafted Hansen as a rookie, but he's a young guy, and it's hard to know what level those guys will contribute. But sending Ayton away from the team, deciding to move on from him was a real, like, we believe in Donovan Clingan. How quickly did you shift that sort of mindset from being like, damn, the league's tough, they sent away one of my dudes, to being like, I'm the starting center for the Trailblazers, let's go? Was that minutes, days, hours? Like how quickly did that happen?
I think it was like, the day it happened, I was a little upset. My guy was gone. And for the next day, I was in the gym realizing what was in front of me, what I had to do, and just put the max amount of work I could put in.
One of the big areas that you have improved this year is that now you make 3-pointers with a great deal of regularity. And I'm going to keep it a buck with you, DC. When you shot 29% from 3 as a rookie and 60% from the free throw line, I did not look at you play and say, that dude's going to start acing threes in year 2. I thought you were an exceptional defensive player, particularly at your age. I said, that dude defends the rim as well as anybody. But I didn't think that since December 1st, you have been shooting 40% from 3 on 2.8 attempts per game. Where did this come from, dude?
Just firing away threes all summer long. And, throughout the season, I've been, off days and practice days, getting extra shots up, just seeing the ball go in, working on my form, working on mechanics, trying to have the same shot every single time. And, I feel like this year first couple games started off hot. Went in a little bit of a slump, and then recently I found it again, and just seeing the ball go in, it just gives me the confidence to go out there and shoot more.
Yeah, but I think to your point, there was a stretch when you were not seeing the ball go in, and I think that was a real testament to sticking with it, because you had a I don't know, 3 weeks there where you weren't making threes, right? And it felt like, okay, right. Hey, like, what is this a weapon? Like, what do we do here? Was there a moment when you had to have conversations with coaching staff? Like, are they saying you have to shoot that shot type of thing? Or like, what does that look like behind the scenes when you want to make threes, it's an important part of the attack, but you are, you're struggling. You're not making them for a bit.
I feel like really in the summertime, like just working on our offense before the season started, the coaching staff was in my ear, like, when you're open, you're going to have to let that thing fly. Like, and I feel like they had the confidence in me because, I was making shots. And, I feel like that's a big part too. If your coaching staff has the confidence in you to go out there and make shots, then it's going to boost your own confidence. And, just throughout this year when I was in a little bit of a slump, just going in and getting extra shots up, seeing the ball go in, pregame or off days, whatever it was, I feel like, helped me out even more.
Yeah, it's I mean, 40% from 6 weeks on like three a night is not nothing. First, I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by the YMCA of Columbia-Willamette. At the YMCA of Columbia-Willamette, they believe everyone deserves to find their place to play because play connects us, it strengthens us, and it brings our communities together. They got 3 pillars at the Y: youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. It's your local nonprofit helping people of all ages move, grow, and belong across the Portland and Vancouver metro areas. Right now, if you sign up before the end of January, they'll waive your sign-up fees. You can save $75 for the year, and then you can go do all of the things available to you at your Columbia-Willamette YMCAs. You'll find 6 courts and a full fitness center at the Beaverton Family Y, family swimming or playing pickleball at the Clark County and Sherwood YMCAs, or family activities all year long. Brand new workout equipment at all 3 branches and so much more. And with the YMCA camps, childcare, and enrichment sites throughout the region, the Y gives kids safe, fun spaces to learn, play, and build confidence all year long. Find your play at the Y. I am a child of YMCA camps, grew up going to the YMCA sports camp throughout my youth. I am now a member of my local YMCA. So if you want to get down like I get down and find your play, visit ymcacw.org/pod. That's ymcacw.org/POD. Or follow them on YouTube and Instagram at YMCACW.
I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happened to me, there would be serious consequences. We have a mortgage, we got tuition, we got everyday bills. Those aren't going anywhere if something happens to me. And I know that's an overwhelming feeling, but I'm taking steps to protect my family by getting life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast, easy, and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LocdownNBA. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LocdownNBA. That's ethos.com/LocdownNBA. Ethos.com/LocdownNBA. Application times and rates may vary.
Still a pass first point guard. I'm still Mike Richmond, and you are still listening to Locked on Blazers. I'm still chatting here with Trailblazers center Donovan Clingan. The other part of your game where you are just elite, you're one of the best, is that you're one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. And you've had a funny week where you've played the other best offensive rebounders in the league. Steven Adams twice with Houston, Mitchell Robinson with the Knicks. Do you, when you watch guys that they don't play exactly like you, right? But they have similar, they're elite at what you're elite at. Do you borrow from them? Like, do you watch Steve-O and say like, okay, how did he do that? Or do you watch Mitchell Robinson and say, what is his angle, like type of thing? Are you borrowing from those guys?
I feel like Steven Adams really gets great position every time. And, he's crashing on every shot. He's hitting the defender before they have a chance to hit him and get position on him. So I feel like I take a lot from that. And I mean, he's probably the strongest dude in the league. And, that just tells me I got to stay in the weight room.
Yeah, there was a moment when Hansen was on him down low and Steve-O just kind of shoved him, like, just hand in his jersey and just kind of moved him out of the way. And Hansen pointed at the ref like, are you kidding? How can he do this? And I'm like, dog, he's been doing it for like 10 years. He's just been removing people. Like,
right.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's even amongst the strongest people in the world, right? Like you're 7'3", 285 or something, right? Like 280. And he is strong. Like he is hard to move. Are there other players when you're watching on League Pass or when you're watching on film who jump out at you and you say like, oh yeah, I could add that to the game? Or you don't even have to name names, but like, is that something you do? Or are you like, how does your sort of like League Pass night look? Are you watching for DC or are you just enjoying the games?
feel like a little bit of both. I mean, I'm feeling like, I watch centers like Rudy Gobert, Jokic, who's a little different, but always in the right position. I just try to pick up on, I feel like, positioning thing. I feel like being in the right position on offense, on defense, rebounding, whatever, could be huge. And I feel like that's some of the biggest things I pick up on and I try to look at, because, if you're in the right position, then the ball's going to go your way. And it's something that could help the offense space the floor. It's just big time.
Speaking of that, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like the offense has changed a little bit, where there are times when you are on the perimeter and you are specifically not supposed to go into the paint. Like the cutters are the wings and you have to space. What is the balance like there? Because you are so good at the rim. You literally lead the NBA in offensive rebounds. How do you balance, like, I got to be on the perimeter because I've been shooting well and that's a threat and that brings guys out from the paint, versus like, I'm going to go get the offensive rebound because that's what I'm great at. Like for you, is that a read? Like, how does that work?
I feel like one depends on who we're playing against. If there's teams that stack the paint and, really crowd the paint when someone's driving, spacing the floor on the perimeter is important. I feel like, who on our team is driving the ball,
Right.
whether they're a guy that's going to go in there and try to get fouled and score, or are they a guy that is driving in there to try to kick the ball out? So, I feel like it's really just having an understanding of who you're playing against, who you're playing with, what's going to give your offense the most space. And yeah.
One more question on offensive rebounding. It felt like to me early in the season, you weren't always going back up with the ball. You were looking to kick out. You were kind of like not powering back up off 2 feet, like not that big power dribble. And then recently, over the last, I don't know, 5 weeks, three or 5 weeks, you've been so much more aggressive going back up. Was there a moment in film or talking with the coaches that they kind of said like, hey, you're gigantic, go be gigantic, get and ones, go finish inside?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I watch the prior games film before every game, and, just seeing that, I'm 7'2", I'm right there under the rim. I could,
Donovan, you're
just go
7'3".
up with it.
You're 7'3". Come on,
7'3".
man.
I get on it. Hey, my license is 7'3". You know what I'm saying? I just got to get used to it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I grew and time has changed, but yeah, I feel like, just having the powerfulness and the strength to just go back up and, really learning my positioning. Whether I'm underneath the basket, it's just smart to try to wedge dribble, go up with it, or is it smart to kick out? If they're crashing 3 guys and I got 3 guys on me in the paint, I know 2 guys are open.
Right.
So really just having an understanding of what's going on in the paint and really just whether or not to go up or try to find the open man.
Yeah, I mean, those offensive kickouts, it's like that's the best shot in basketball, right? A catch and shoot when your shoulders are already square. So it's like you are really saying, like, am I going to set up the best look they're going to get, or am I going to go back up? It is a real balance. Okay, I'm going to get you out of here with this one, Donovan. And you kind of brushed this off when I asked you at the podium because I didn't think you were like, who is this? I don't want to talk about this at this time, but I'm gonna run it back again. You always been a smack talker?
No, I feel like just like my willingness to do whatever it takes to win and my competitiveness gets to me a lot because, I want to win. I want to do everything I can to help my team win. And, I feel like in college it started, I had a smack talker as a coach who smack talked his player. Yeah. And, I feel like that just kind of gives you a little bit of confidence. It gives you a little bit of swagger that just getting yourself in the right mind. I try not to trash talk too much. I mean, if someone else starts it, I won't ignore it. But I feel like it's something that fires you up, fires the team up. And really, for me, I feel like it's just like, my competitive spirit that I just want to win. So whatever I could, I'm just out there like not like just angry. You know what I mean? Like I just want to do what I can.
Yeah, I mean, you're a competitive guy. I watch you play. You play with fire. It's one of the reasons that makes you good. But I also love, like, Shaden Sharp crams on Russell Westbrook, and you're there like, oh, like letting them know that it happened. Or so it's like I appreciate it from my seat up in 113. Donovan, thank you so much for making the time. It was a real treat to chat with you. Good luck good luck this evening against tomorrow's show. We're recording it ahead of time, but good luck this evening against the Warriors. A chance to sweep Golden State and move into 8th place in the West. A big game for your Portland Trail Blazers. DC, thanks so much, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks again to DC for joining the program. Blazers play the Warriors on Tuesday evening. So Wednesday's show, we'll recap everything that happens in that one. It's what we do 5 days a week, wherever you get podcasts, also on YouTube. If you made it this far, go join the Everydayer Club. $5 a month or $50 a year. You get an ad-free version of this episode, plus access to the members-only Discord. If you truly are an Everydayer, step it up, make it official, and then tell your friends about the podcast. Tell them they can get it where they already listen to podcasts. I appreciate you listening. I will talk to you soon.